Good morning, everybody. Super excited. Today we have Jeff Applegate. Jeff is the founder and CEO at Texas Injection Molding. Jeff, good morning. How are you today?
Good morning, Travis. I'm doing well, thanks.
Good. So tell us a little bit about what is Texas Injection Molding.
We are a custom plastic injection molding company. So we produce parts for middle market companies that are molded plastic parts, typically in higher volumes that are used in oil field, medical, computer parts. It could be really plastic parts are used everywhere from, I'm thinking safety, say eye wash machines and traffic control, pedestrian safety, firearms markets. I mean, just about every market, um, every industry uses plastics, and so we target and work with a lot of middle market companies that are typically manufacturers and making components for them.
Okay. So just to kind of put this in perspective for people that may, so growing up, I think of the glass Coke bottles that came in wooden crates. Now you'll see 2 liters in plastic crates that have been molded. That's the type of stuff that you're doing, correct?
That would be something we could mold, yes.
Okay, perfect. So tell us a little bit about the company from the perspective of you're the founder. So how long have you had the company? What has the growth been? How did you get started?
Going on 11 years.
Okay.
So started in December 2013. I wasn't really what my plan A was, but it was a situation where I needed to go to a plan B. I invested everything that I had, including my son's college education that we had saved when he was a senior in high school, and used SBA loans to purchase a building and a small company. I could have done a greenfield startup, but that would have been using private money and would have given up all the ownership. So in order to maintain the ownership, I took the more bureaucratic route, I guess. It took some time, but to do SBA loans, it was a great product. I had a great partner bank with Bank of America was a fantastic partner. You have to have somebody that believes in you and trusts in you and willing to put their name on the line. And I had that with Bank of America, and that launched us in the 2013. And then we had the vision. If you're going to start a company, you don't want to say I'm going to be the most mediocre plastic company. So you say, we want to be, if we're going to do something, we want to be the best at it. We want to be known in the industries we serve as the best, and we want to be the best supplier to our customer, the best employer to our team, and we want to be the best customer to our vendor. And that kind of guides our business plan every year. What does best look like? There's always something. There's a way to become better. And so in every area of our business, we have 3 to 5 things that we're trying to do to move that rock forward to the next. What does best look like? And so that's guided our business, and we've grown 10x in 10 years. We've gone from 22 employees to about 175 employees. We had about 10 molding machines when we started, and we have 32 today. And so we also started in a 1980s unair conditioned metal building in Houston, and then have moved to had the really privilege to design build. We've got a 90,000 square foot manufacturing, air conditioned, just fabulous facility that kind of a once in a lifetime to design build a facility just for our industry. So it's been really a lot of fun. And that's kind of how we kind of where we are, how we got there, and it's been a fabulous journey. I can say that along the way, just to watch how when you're in treacherous situations, to watch how the Lord provides for us. And so early on, the very first week, give you a couple stories that would show that. Is we very first week of business, Igloo had a fire and called us and said, hey, they do a lot of molding on their own, so we want to buy all the capacity you have for the next 4 months, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. really needed that wind in our sails, and that really helped us.
Mhm.
We desperately needed a tool shop because in our business, we have molds, and the molds are what make the products. If the molds are not running properly, if they're not cooling properly, if they're not producing good quality parts, or the number of parts, it's a big challenge. And so we didn't have a tool shop. The tools that I had, that came with the business, that there are other customers' tools, they needed us a lot of work. And so I had a friend called me and said, hey, I've got some material. It's Flextronics, which is in Stafford, and they were moving to Austin, and they said, I have some material. Would you want to take a look at it? I'm sure I'll come over and look at it. But I looked at it, it had all this tool shop stuff. And I ended up making them an offer to buy the material and everything, the whole tool shop. It was, pennies on the dollar, and was able to do that deal and then sell the material for the same price that I paid for the whole lot, and ended up getting the tool shop for free. And there was those types of things, as when we needed a break, those types of things have come and really helped us grow and strengthen our faith along the way.
Very cool. So just for people that are going to see this, that when they hear tool shop, they may not know what you're talking about. Tool shops really are for something like your business where you have fairly custom machinery. A tool, the wrench or the screwdriver that you need doesn't necessarily exist. So you have to be able to manufacture and create that tool yourself or take care of those tools. And so really a tool shop is set up to do just that. It actually creates the tools that you need to work on your machines and things like that. So I just want to make sure that everybody was on the same page with that. So tell us, your background is you start what I can see, you were with LSI Industries, which is working with major oil and gas companies. Then you went to ProStaff, which is kind of a staffing recruiting agency. Then you went to Blackwell, which was plastics, and then you moved into this. So your background has really given you kind of it's giving you the contacts in oil and gas, which is a major component of your clients now, but it also gives you the background in how to manage HR and run recruiting and staffing and doing those things really well. And so your background has really lent itself to you being as successful in the individual verticals of your business that you are. What do you think has been the biggest learning that you've taken away as being the founder, the employer of this business since you started it? What's that one thing that you're like, oh, this is completely different than when I was in corporate America and doing it for someone else?
Oh man, what was completely different? I think that probably when you sign unlimited personal guarantees, when you're responsible for the payroll, when machinery breaks down unexpectedly, and I think that the carrying all of the financial burden personally, that was really the only new thing. In all of those other, most of my career has been either you call it turnarounds or rebuilding businesses, and they were usually small and medium-sized businesses. And so, I knew manufacturing, I knew, bills of manufacturing, estimating, quoting. I was in sales for a number of years, in sales management, general management, worked with P&Ls and with the financing, and just was in all those cases was a sales driven rebuilding of businesses, and learned a lot. The ProStaff was a break along the way. I wanted to get some experience in the service business. They were, it was a when I started there, we had 39 offices. I was there for a year. I worked with the CEO coach, Kevin Miller. Unbelievable. That's a young guy and independent consultant, business consultant. And he really taught not only me, but other market managers. And we went through a really by the book turnaround. And so I got experience in a lot of operational methods and vision, mission, core values, and how to lead the business. And so that was a big, even though it was 1 year, we went from 39 offices to 20 offices. We turned the company around and had it get profitable. It was working with a lot of people and redoing organizational charts, and it was and really the methods by which they worked, and so making it more of a manufacturing type operation. When you think of a service business, it's really typically not really run from a manufacturing mindset, and so we did that through more process driven activities throughout the business. And so it was a great experience. And so all that helped me when I came to, start my own business. That had most of that experience but the financial part was carrying that full burden was new to me.
So let's talk about that for just a second. So you mentioned that you did an SBA loan, which in and of itself, there could be a masterclass on how to do an SBA loan, because it's not terribly complicated. It's just not straightforward, and there is a lot of red tape that you have to go through when you're doing it. Especially if you don't have an established business like yours, you were starting from scratch. So trying to get all of that up and running with pro formas and things like that can be a little bit more challenging.
Right.
But once you started and the full burden rests on you and your shoulders, what is one piece of advice that you would give other new business owners, really regardless of the funding source, regarding financial management?
I think a lot of it's personality, but I'm pretty conservative. Others here might say really conservative. So when you start off and you've got mountains of debt, and you feel like you've got a lot of nooses tied around your neck, and for me it was about growing the business and shedding those nooses, and so being really resourceful and in the way that we spent money, like we needed office furniture. We needed a break room. I went to Habitat for Humanity, and for $500, I bought all of our office furniture. And we did that. If you think that you're going to just go out and borrow some more money and go buy brand new furniture and have this fabulous office, well, those are the things that can get you in trouble. And so I think that being conservative and trying to get ahead of the considerably outpace on a cash flow basis the base load of your financial commitments, so that you've got some rainy day fund in the bank. You've got some your cash flow is solid, and you're not taking too many risks. And once you get there, then you can sleep better at night. So the first year, I mean, it was I didn't sleep that well in the first year, because you're trying to get some traction, to grow the business, to get ahead of that. There's so many uncertainties that come, and just working through that. That was a treacherous time the first year, but I think we did it, and then that's really put us in a really strong position that we can have dry powder when an opportunity comes. I can just pay cash for a piece of equipment, or when you're conservative, you can grow. I think that to be where we are today, as if we didn't really keep everything back in the business, we wouldn't have been able to put the money down to buy this land, to be able to have the strong financial statements, to be able to get another SBA loan to build this building. And so it's hard to get from a mom and pop shop to be a major manufacturer, and to have those, especially in a capital intensive business. You have to be disciplined to reinvest in the business. I like to say, don't be tempted to take money out of the cash register. That is probably the biggest risk that people can do, and the biggest sin that people can do in a business, is to take money from the cash register. Leave it in, invest in it, and then that gives you the opportunity to really separate yourselves. In capital intensive business, once you get to a certain size, you're attracting different customers, and you just don't have as much competition that's truly able to offer the same breadth of services to the market that we are. So that just allows you to separate. So it's that's kind of our I guess the lesson is be conservative, reinvest everything.
So you hit on a couple of things that I want to just touch on. I remember, pre the housing crisis and the bubble bursting, you could get a loan for a house for over 100% of the home value because you were going to remodel it, you were going to put in a new refrigerator, you're going to redo the kitchen, you're going to do all those things. And ultimately, we learned during the housing crisis that, if it takes you 10 years to just get to the 100% value mark of your home, you're really you're screwing yourself. And really, you just said the exact same thing. You said, don't overvalue, don't take out another loan just to go get new furniture. You can get new furniture down the road when you have the money. Don't go out and purchase new equipment when used equipment will do the same thing for you. And I think businesses often are a little bit different because as business owners, we have stuff, but that stuff doesn't value the same way. A lot of it depreciates over time. It doesn't value the same way as a home does. And so you have to be really mindful of that. The other thing that you mentioned that I think is really important, and just to put it in different terms, you also need to know what your break even is. So if your loan payment is, say, $1,000 a month on your SBA loan, which I'm sure yours was a lot more than that, but let's just say it was $1,000, you have to be confident in, listen, I need to sell X number of widgets, I need to sell X number of services every day in order to keep the lights on and keep the business running. Forget paying myself. I just need to do this. This is the break even. And then you have the next break even, which is, okay, now I'm going to get to pay myself. I'm going to be able to invest and I'm going to be able to do those things. And I think oftentimes people just go in and be like, oh yeah, the money will come in, and they don't know what that amount is. So they don't know what they're striving to get to. And so I think you hit on those both really, really well. And I just wanted to capitalize on those a little bit for people that are listening. So last question, and for me, this is the one that's kind of always interesting to see the different perspectives. Where do you see yourself, your business, in 5 years?
I think our business is changing, and that we looked at, I'd say in the last year or two, we looked at different strategies which we could grow the business, and we've got a really very sophisticated ERP system, which allows us to handle complex products, and we could be a contract manufacturer. We could be a brand owner. Right now, we're a contractor that we support other brands. We could buy a brand. We could have our own products. But what I've seen is, as we've built our facility and as we've established ourselves in the marketplace, we're attracting people that are trying to come back from, move their production from Asia back to the United States, or they're Fortune 100 companies, much bigger companies, and they have much larger requirements that, 3 years ago we couldn't even talk to them, couldn't even been in the same. They wouldn't, and if they had come and visited us, they would not have even considered it. And now we're seeing that they find us. They come and they're like, we've been to 3 or 4 other places and there's nobody else like this. So I think where I was really looking to go something different than just the traditional organic 2 years ago. What I'm seeing now is the organic growth, because of the opportunities we're seeing, like the one I mentioned when we started. Those are coming to us every day. Now we didn't talk about it here before we started the interview, but really weekly we're seeing these large companies coming to us because there's not really another place that can handle their business. So I think growing organically, and I think becoming more productive with our resources. I think we can, with the current facility, we just finished an expansion. I think we can double our business within the current facility. And then for me, personally, bigger is not better, it's just more.
Yeah.
And so I think that for me personally, I think this in the next 5 years is to try to make the most out of this business that it is. Put my true north has always been to have my customers and my employees to help them prosper personally and professionally. So what do I do every day to put my employees and my customers in a position to prosper? I think in the next 5 years, there's great opportunities. That's what I'll focus on. And then what's beyond that, I don't know.
Okay, perfect. No, that's great. From my perspective, I'm excited to check back in with you in the next several months, maybe even a year, just to see how things are going, what the growth has been, and to go from there. But Jeff, thank you so much for your time today. I greatly appreciate it.
Yes, Travis, thank you. Enjoyed being with you.
Absolutely. Have a great day.
All right, bye-bye.